What is going on, guys? So we got quads going on, starting off the slightly different variation of the leg extension, which they've always had this machine. I always kind of wanted to try it. Just I preferred the plate loaded like cable version better. But now that Kira and I's leg days land on the same day with her training split. So she does hamstring and glute on Monday. I do hamstring, I guess technically, and glute also on Monday. And then she also does quads on Friday, like myself. So I found that we're using, like, our first movement, we're using the same machine. We're doing the same movement, so just trying to come up with a way that I can still get my same set, or get the same load without having to wait, because she rests so little, like a minute and a half, towards like, okay, I'm just kind of waiting there, or not waiting there, but it'd just be almost kind of rushed in between sets. So usually I'll just let her go ahead and get all of her sets out of the way before I even start mine. So I'm trying to find ways to mitigate that as much as possible. If that means I do a slight different variation, then so be it. I will say though, for having never used this machine before and being 2 warm-ups and a working set in already, I do like this machine quite a bit. It's actually like plate loaded. The plates load on the front here, and it's not like constant tension like you would feel on like the band or the cable variations of a machine, but the way that the weight loads basically from the bottom kind of like all the way through, it does feel really good. Another thing, I wasn't sure, because I've never used this, how I was going to be able to load up, or how much weight I was going to be able to load up to hit my intended reps. And so far it's about on par with one of the like leg extension cable machines. But I'm going to go ahead, load up just a little bit more on this thing, because I was still able to hit 12 reps, that first working set. So with an extra 25 on there, that should put me with just the weight alone about 160, which is about in line with as heavy as I would want to go on a cable machine and still hit my target reps. That was a solid set. I maybe had one left in the tank. Yeah, so I can right on here. Last week got up to 160 on the cable variation of this. So weight loading wise, it's about the same. Just removing that almost kind of like constant tension aspect from the band or the cable. That's pretty good. We've got one set to go, and I'm going to try and take that one as close to failure as I possibly can. So if I can land another 10 reps, I might try to push it to 11. And if I can't get that far with even 11 reps, then I'll probably finish off with some partials as much as I can move the weight and finish that off to failure. So moving into the last set, like I said, it's gonna be taken as close to failure as possible. I'm really trying to pre-exhaust my quads before moving on over to the hack squats. I would say that was pretty close. I maybe could have gotten like one more partial in there, but my quads are on fire right now after those. So I figured that was probably close enough. I'm gonna do some hack squats, probably do a warm-up set. Well, I don't think I'll need the warm-up set this week, especially after doing these. So we got 3 sets. Probably trying to stay between 6 to 10, maybe even 8 to 10 reps on those. If I land a little bit higher, then I know I can bump up the weight. But that's going to be target reps at least somewhere in the like 6 to 10 range. So I just had to get this thing set up with the added platform on top. Did my first set. Was able to hit 10 reps. So gonna throw on a little bit more weight. This is going to be the same weight that I did last week for sets 2 and 3, which I was able to get 8 reps last week. So this week I'm going to try and push for 10. See if I can't get close to. I think I can push through, because if I remember right, I think last week I stopped a little short. Like, I definitely could have done another rep on at least one of those sets, I'm pretty sure. And I think I stopped a rep early because I don't know, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it back up or what the deal was. But this week, trying for 10 reps at this same weight. So if I can get 10 on this second set, maybe I'll throw on like 10 pounds, an additional 10 pounds each side, so 20 total. Still see if I can maintain at least 8 reps with a heavier load. If I fail to get 10 on this next set, then I'll just leave the weight where it's at. If I can get 10, then I don't know. If I get 10, I might leave it and then wait to increase the weight next week, which I think overall is probably going to be the smarter move. little bit longer rest than I wanted to at 3 minutes, but I do feel better in between my quad heavy movements with a little bit more rest. Just feel like they need it. Two more. All right, that was 10. And I still feel like I maybe could have gotten one more rep out of that. I'll leave it. I'll leave it here for another week. And then I think next week should be good enough to make another increase. You know, I will say I am definitely surprised with how much strength I'm able to still get out of quads at this weight and as many reps, with starting off with the leg extensions, basically pre-exhausting everything. Just a little surprising. So I wonder, or it makes me think that maybe this whole time I've just been kind of holding myself back on potential growth by not starting off with leg extensions before doing any kind of like squat movement, because the strength is there, just not the it was missing the stimulus, I think. Because I will say I've noticed slight difference since I started doing this in the overall thickness and like leanness. I was gonna say cutness, but that's not a word. Leanness is the word I was looking for. The leanness in my quads, seeing separation between the different heads and all that. Definitely noticed a difference since I started doing the leg extensions prior to my squats. Let's go ahead and do this last set. Hopefully it's another 10 reps. Another solid 10 in, even though my quads are pretty smoked. I still feel like I maybe could have gotten one more rep on those. Sorry, like I said, next week, be up in the weight a little bit. And then just see what happens. So to finish things off, got 2 sets of hip adductions, and then a bit of calves, and then I'm almost thinking to do 2 sets of split squats since I wasn't feeling that great on Monday and I didn't come in and do hamstrings. So I'm thinking of at least doing 2 sets of that. We'll see how I feel after these next 2 exercises and then go from there. So I know it's a little bit dark over here. Nothing I can really do about that because there's, well, one light right over here and then there's just dark corner where this machine ended up. So really the only thing I can do is try and bump up the ISO a little bit to give it a little bit more light, but I'm not gonna crank it up super high. And I think because of how dark it is over here, this is about as good as it's gonna get, unfortunately. So do apologize for that, but it is what it is. Nothing I can do. I'm already a set in, and if anyone watching this remembers, probably now at this point a number of weeks back, I was talking about how some of these machines have different adjustments of where they place the load, either at the beginning, middle, or end of the rep. And I was playing around with that for a couple of weeks. I just decided to say, kind of fuck it. Try and find a spot that was loaded, still somewhat in the middle where I'm used to having it loaded, but also towards the end of the rep as well. So playing around with the adjustments, I think I found a really solid spot for that, at least from what I could tell on that first set, because it felt really good. But I'm getting ready to go into set 2, and I'm only doing 2 sets here. 2 sets here, be finished, and then 3 sets of calf raises. I don't know, being that it's on a leg press, you can let me know in the comments down below. Is it still a calf raise? Is it a calf press? Or is it a calf extension? Let me know in the comments down below what you would call that movement. Yeah, right on the inside of the thighs, or the inside of the quads. I don't know the exact name for that muscle. I probably should. And being that I've talked about it now multiple times, I should honestly probably look it up. So that way I know what the name of the muscle I'm targeting actually is. Which maybe after the workout, I'm walking on the treadmill. If I feel like looking at my phone, maybe I'll look it up while I'm walking, since I'll have plenty of time to do that. Then maybe next week I'll be able to tell you, oh yeah, I'm targeting, such and such muscle. I'm really feeling it in there, whatever the hell it is. And if you know what it is, drop a comment down below, let me know. So that way it might save me a little bit of time in having to look it up. Just gonna finish off with some calves. And then I was walking a little bit funny. My quads are definitely fatigued. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna do this 2 sets of splits, but I'll have a better idea once I finish up on the calves. So I'm getting ready to go into my last set on the calf raises. Sets, or the first 2 sets, I guess I should say, overall weren't too bad. I did feel slightly more engagement in my calves, so I don't know if it's a difference in the way that I'm bracing myself into the seat here. Maybe more of a slight bend in my knees. Whatever, maybe it's a combination of a couple different things, but whatever it is that I'm doing, I do feel slightly more engagement, or noticeably more engagement in my calves than I usually do. And I'm not saying that I don't feel them at all when I usually do them, just I feel a little bit more of a stretch and a bit stronger of a contraction on these sets so far. That being said, the weight that I usually do, I rarely increase the weight on calf raises, because I try to go more for reps, or try to stay higher in reps for this movement, or when targeting the calves specifically. But for this last set, I did throw in a bit more weight. I'm gonna see if I can get somewhere between like 10 and 12 reps, because usually I'm between 12 and 15. So maybe for a couple weeks I see, or I load up more weight, drop my reps down a bit, see if I notice any growth from switching up and doing that. We'll see. Okay. That was a good solid set. More weight, slightly less reps, though I did take that set pretty much to failure until my calves couldn't contract anymore. That's gonna be it for these. Damn it, dude. Slam that thing. It's gonna be it for these things. I think I'm gonna go do 2 sets of splits just to make up, since I didn't do them on Monday, though I'm hoping that it isn't too much of a stimulus to where it's now not allowing me to recover over the next couple of days. I'm gonna do it and then see how I feel this weekend, see how I feel going into hamstrings on Monday, and if I'm noticing that I'm still feeling fatigued by then I probably won't do splits on the same day that I do quads again. So this honestly might have been a little bit of a mistake because of how fatigued my legs are, specifically my quads. because after that first set, yeah, probably gonna have a hard time because I'm doing one more, so I'm probably gonna have a hard time walking out of here. Well, actually no, maybe not, because I've got to walk on the treadmill 20 minutes after this, so that should hopefully actually you know, not that my legs aren't already loose, but hopefully loosen me up enough to where, you know, I should be good afterwards. Let's go ahead, this last set, and then hit the treadmill. Definitely fatigued. Yep. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun walking on the treadmill. Go ahead, check out that pump on the quads real quick. They're looking pretty beefy, pretty full. Put these away, go hit the treadmill for about 20 minutes. And as always, well, wait for these people to stop slamming their weights. As always, if you made it to the end, I do appreciate you. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.